Kim Bauer with Tallgrass Animal Acupressure Institute, and this is Salty, an 8-year-old quarter horse stallion. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to trace the 12 major meridians following the circadian clock so that you can see how the flow goes, starting with lung and finishing up with liver. So we start with lung 1 in the belly of the pectoral muscle. This is the alarm point, and we're going up and out, coming down the crease of the foreleg, the medial side, coming down. We're jogging out to lung 7, which is at the distal border of the chestnut. You draw a line forward to the styloid process. Come down to lung 9 in the crease of the carpus. Continue on down medially to lung 11, which is 2/3 the distance back from the front of the coronary band. So we left off at lung 11, 2/3 the distance back on the coronary band. The sister is large intestine, so we move forward to large intestine 1. Coming up medially up to large intestine 4, the source point. Then we are coming slightly up, crossing the carpus to large intestine, following it up the front third of the lateral side of the leg. Large intestine 11 is in the transverse crease. Ideally, you'd pick the leg up to find that point. We're coming along the underside of the humerus to the front of the point of the shoulder, which is large intestine 15, up onto the neck, coming up the neck, onto the jaw, following over to the nose, large intestine 20. All right, so we left off at large intestine 20. Now we're going up to stomach 1, below the eye. Stomach 2 is between the bifurcation of the vein, coming down along the nose to the corner of the mouth, which is stomach 4, following the curve up and over the TMJ joint. Then the meridian comes down along the lower portion of the neck, between the front legs. We're coming soon off the ventral midline till we get to the end of the ribs. Then we jog in soon. Our landmark is stomach 25, which is 1.5 to soon lateral from the umbilicus. The meridian goes up into the inguinal area. We pick it up on the cranial lateral side of the hind leg. Stomach 34, 35, 36, 40 is the influential point for phlegm. Then we come down to stomach 42, the source point, and all the way down to the front Ting Jingwell point, stomach 45. So we ended up at stomach 45. We then skip the medial first Ting point, which is liver, come to spleen 1, up the middle of the leg. Spleen 3, the source point, is below the end of the splint bone, up the middle of the leg. Spleen 6 is 3 soon, or approximately a hand's width up from the medial malleolus on the back side of the tibia. Then we're coming up, we're crossing in front of the saphenous vein to get to spleen 9. Goes up into the inguinal area, and then we pick it up on the lateral side of the abdomen, spleen 20, and then spleen 21 is at about the height of the shoulder in the flat spot at the 10th intercostal space. Left off at spleen 21. Now we're going to go to heart. So heart 1 is in between the belly and the foreleg and the armpit. And then heart comes down the medial side, but towards the back of the leg, crosses above the accessory carpal bone to heart 7, the source point, and continues down the lateral side of the leg to heart 9. So here we are at heart 9. We're going to go to the sister small intestine 1, come up. 3 is in the middle of the leg on the lateral side over the palmar vein. We come up to small intestine 4, over the carpus, and then since the sister heart is on the inside, small intestine now comes up the back, 3rd, towards the elbow. Then we're coming on to the body. Small intestine 9 is between the deltoid and the tricep, good shoulder point. Coming up the back side of the scapula, crossing before we get to the top. We're coming along the neck, and we're continuing to place on the jaw below the corner of the eye and up to small intestine 19 at the base of the ear. We left off at small intestine 19 at the base of the ear. We're now going down to bladder 1 at the inner canthus of the eye, coming up, staying along the dorsal aspect of the neck. Bladder 11, the influential point for bone. And then we come over the withers and split into two branches, with the inner branch being the association points, the outer branch being the emotional line. Continue on through the gluteals. We continue on back. The two channels come back together at bladder 40, which is in the popliteal fossa, master point for the hind end. Come slightly lateral to bladder 60, the aspirin point, and continue down along the lateral side of the leg to bladder 67, the Jingwell point for bladder. So we left off at bladder 67. Kidney 1 is between the heel bulbs. We're actually going to show it on this leg since Salty's standing so nicely. Kidney 1, we're coming up the back, slightly medial side of the leg to kidney 3 in the skinny part of the hock. Then we circle down around to 4, 5, 6, up to 7. Then we continue up to kidney 10. And then kidney comes along the ventral midline, the closest into conception vessel, all the way up between the front legs. And it ends between the sternum and the first rib at kidney 27. So we left off at kidney 27. Next one we're going to is Pericardium 1, which is in the 4th intercostal space. So it's on the body. We're coming into the middle part of the medial side of the leg, coming down in front of the chestnut, which is Pericardium 6. Then we're coming back to the medial side. We're still on the medial side above the accessory carpal bone, which is Pericardium 7, source point. And then we're continuing down the back of the leg between the heel bulbs to Pericardium 9. So we're between the heel bulbs at Pericardium 9. The sister is triple heater. Triple heater 1 is on the front of the coronary band. Coming up between the row of metacarpals, just lateral, is triple heater 4, the source point. Then we're curling around. We're coming up the middle part of the lateral side of the leg. Triple heater 5 is opposite Pericardium 6. We're continuing up in the middle. We're coming along above the humerus, below SI9, to triple heater 14, which is a local shoulder point. We had the large intestine 15 on the front side. Here's triple heater 14. Now we're coming up to a point on the neck, up by the first thoracic vertebra. And then we're continuing up, aiming for the ear. We're going to come close in around the ear to triple heater 23 on the supraorbital ridge of the eye. We left off at triple heater 23, and we're going to come down to gallbladder 1 at the outer canthus of the eye. Come up, over to gallbladder 20 in front of the wing of the atlas. Come down the neck to gallbladder 21 in front of the scapula. The meridian then dives under the scapula. We pick it up on the lateral side of the abdomen. Come up to gallbladder 24 in the 14th intercostal space, up to gallbladder 25 behind the last rib. The meridian then comes around the tubercoccae. We have it coming across the hip joint, gallbladder 30 back here. Then it comes around to the middle of the leg, gallbladder 34. We're coming down to 39, 40, which is the source point. Coming down the middle of the leg to gallbladder 44, which is 1/3 the distance back from the front of the coronary band. We left off at gallbladder on the lateral side of the leg. We then skip stomach and come to liver 1 on the medial side, up to liver 2, liver 3. We continue on up to liver 8, up near the adductor. Then goes up into the inguinals, and we pick liver up on the lateral side of the abdomen. The tip of the 17th rib is liver 13, the alarm point for spleen. Then we come down to liver 14, and the 13th intercostal space at about the height of the elbow.